I am from beyond. Listen, and all you desire will be yours. Welcome to Spider-Dan and the Secret Balls. Prepare for Prattle.
Choose a side in a Clone Wars. Welcome to Prattle World. I am your host, the ever-amazing, ever-spectacular Spider-Dan, and in this podcast, I spotlight entertainment's best-kept secrets that a mainstream audience may find boring. Welcome back, guys. Welcome to the second ever edition of The Clone Wars, and I'm not alone in this one. I have a very own clone of myself, here with Andy Knowles.
Hey, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
You're my first return guest.
Oh, I appreciate it. I also appreciate you ruining my Saturday. Thank you so much.
I'm always here, taking up your time, taking up your rooms, and exposing you to, not myself, but to...
Well, there was a moment.
There was a moment. He's my semi-regular guest, who I regularly get a semi about.
Splendid. I'm so happy to be here.
So today, it's all about the twos today. It's the second ever Clone Wars. You're the first. This is your second appearance on the podcast. Yes. So it's all about the twos. So we are going to look at two films today by Noboro Iguchi, I think. Iguchi?
Yeah, Noboro Iguchi.
Yeah, get that right first off. Two of his films. So he's quite the cult director in Japan, from what I know about him. But there's not much kind of online and kind of behind the scenes.
It's very much internalized Japanese filmmaking. Very Japanese movies that don't transfer into the Western world. Not really. I mean, there's a lot of external stuff going on. Mostly fountains of blood. Fountains of blood, fountains of pain, and lots of overacting.
Lots of very strong, passionate acting in Japan, is over the top as possible.
Then some.
We were talking during the films, you really wanted to do the cult film test, but I doubt we're going to have time to do it. But I think these would probably get a very high score.
Yeah, I think they'd hit your 50 minimum mark.
Oh,
easy.
40 to 50, easy, I think. But yeah, just so bizarre, so weird, so wacky. Wackier than The Bad Lieutenant by far. And that was
definitely
pretty wacky and pretty relentless. We watched these back to back as well to kind of give them... And you've never seen them, I'd never seen them.
No.
So we've kind of judged them almost entirely on the third... Well, we have judged them entirely on the first viewing.
We've literally just finished them as well.
And it was an interesting journey, an interesting ride.
If you want to say that, yes. So
should we get started?
Yeah. What are they though? What are the films?
The two films are The Machine Girl from was it 2008? Was it
2008? Yeah,
2008, and then RoboGeisha from 2009. So my choice behind these two films were that they have the reasons for comparison. Same director, similar kind of manga-esque violence and cinematography and the kind of cyborg female superhero kind of genre. I was a little inspired by Alita Battle Angel that's just come out. So I thought this is a great time to kind of showcase that.
Which I still haven't seen.
My friend just saw it. My friend Dan Keatis at DL Keatis on Twitter has just seen it. He's one of the other guests I've had on Secret Defenders. He said that he absolutely loved it. Went in totally blind, loved it.
Because I know it's been quite divisive, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think Dan said that a lot of the kind of hardcore manga fans might be disappointed, but he said as a kind of just going in cold, he loved it. So I was definitely interested in seeing that. I love Robert Rodriguez. I'm a fan of James Cameron sometimes.
Yeah.
But for the
You're
most
fired.
part. True Lies, Aliens. There's a few hits and there's a few misses. I'll be honest with James Cameron for me.
Yeah, definitely.
But I do appreciate his kind of visions a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get started because I think we've babbled on enough about just why we're comparing.
Certainly have.
So let's talk about Machine Girl. So. What was Machine Girl about? What's the plot of Machine Girl?
Well, the plot is very simply a young girl and her brother are in deep with the Yakuza.
Okay.
And obviously, I think her brother owes the Yakuza some money. And he can't pay up, so they brutally kill him. And she goes on a mad spree of vengeance.
That's pretty much sums up the plot pretty well.
Yeah,
I think it's the children of the Yakuza parents, isn't it?
Yeah.
So because
it doesn't make it very clear initially until you get about half an hour in. You go, okay, so he's just the son of a mad, crazy Yakuza boss.
I think in the opening scene she was like, "Do you remember this boy? You bullied him to death."
Yeah,
that's the term she uses.
Yeah.
I think in these films there's a little bit lost in the translation.
Yeah, definitely. We watched it on subtitles. We didn't use the dubbing because I think we both preferred to watch the subtitles
as it was originally intended.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So a lot of the subtitles. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
The films don't really make sense to begin with.
On a base level, they don't really make sense. There's a lot of I wouldn't call them continuity errors, but there's things that don't really match up from scene to scene.
Yeah, I would argue there's some continuity errors. So Machine Girl.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. But don't you worry, we're going to get into it.
I've just remembered one. Oh, we'll come back.
So, her brother is killed brutally in Machine Girl. The brother is killed by the children of the Yakuza. I mean, the kid thinks he's basically a Yakuza anyway, but he's like, it's very casual. He just walks into all these scenes and just watches people fight for him.
He's like a passive actor. It's like they just went, just walk on set and just scowl and then leave.
Yeah, it's like he's kind of like he's like a be cool kind of character. It's like, oh, looks like you're dead now.
He reminded me of like a really, really attempting to be Butch Michael Cera. You just imagine Michael Cera in a gangster movie, trying to put Michael Cera in Goodfellas, and that's what you get. It'd just be really shit.
Yeah, he wasn't really. I mean, yes, he would be. He would definitely be very shit in that role.
I don't know where that came from. I'm so sorry.
I like Michael Cera, but maybe in that role, maybe
I don't. So there
you go. So he's a Marmite actor. Let's say he's divisive.
I wish he was Lex Luthor instead of. Yeah.
Oh God.
We won't even get.
No. Let's move on before we get the BVS chat started again. And she goes out to avenge her brother's death. Yep. Fights some parents.
Yes.
And eventually she actually loses her arm.
Yes, she does.
In one of the fights that she has.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that. But yeah, she loses her arm, and it is replaced by a friend who replaces it with a chain gun, Gatling gun of all things.
A big ass Gatling gun that doesn't need reloading.
Not really.
It just massacres everyone.
I don't know how many bullets she has in that gun, but it seems to not need reload. I think they reload once or twice in the film towards the end.
With special bullets.
Special bullets.
We don't actually ever see the special bullets.
And we don't see how special they are, why they're special. They're just special.
No.
Yeah, but the thing is, they don't really work. Unless
because everybody's got.
I think I know what the special bullets were. I think I know what they're meaning now.
Was it the power of joy?
We'll talk about it. But yeah, the basic plot is it's a revenge movie. Simple as is a revenge movie. Girl has her arm chopped off. Brother's dead. Shoots lots of gangsters basically in the process. Let's begin with that opening scene.
So what we discovered after watching the second one is that the opening scenes literally have. It's almost like they take part in the middle of the film, but they have no connection whatsoever to the film itself.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Bond, the Bond films where he has like a separate adventure.
Yeah.
And they're not related at all. It's the end of another adventure, another mission.
Like the old classic ones, like GoldenEye.
Yeah.
That actually is connected. Really,
yeah, that is kind of connected. But that's
there's
I
know what you mean.
Her Majesty's Secret Service. Like most of the James Bond films start off with a non-connected James Bond mission.
Yeah, there's like a quick thriller thing before the title credits.
Yeah, he's like parachuting with the Union Jack and stuff like that. That's a classic one. But yeah, it's kind of like that. But usually with these things, it kind of comes back around towards the end.
Yeah, like GoldenEye, there is a connective tissue.
Yeah, they kind of come full circle or they link in some way. And you would think that these scenes would be placed towards the end.
Because it plays out like that, doesn't it? Because she holds up a photo right at the start and goes, "Do you remember this kid who you bullied?" Which turns out to be her brother. And then she kills all these guys who I think were part of the group.
Yeah, I think they were part of the bullying group, yeah.
But then you see them later on, and they're alive again, aren't they? Along with that kid who they were bullying.
That's right, he's at the end, yeah.
Yeah, the main ringleader has captured that bullied kid again. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. It's just very, very bizarre.
Yeah.
But it is literally like they made the scene and went, we'll put it in the beginning, but then. I mean, it's the same thing happens with RoboGeisha as well. Yeah, the star doesn't have any connective tissue whatsoever.
Don't get me wrong; they're both amazing opening scenes. We had to rewind because it was so amazing. To go back and go.
The opening scene of Machine Girl was so insane. We needed to see it again just to go. Jesus Christ, this is actually what it is.
The uber violence.
Yeah, this is it.
The over the topness of it.
If you can hear my dog barking, I apologise.
It's alright. It's better than those annoying kids that were doing Christmas songs outside my window that time during one of my puny pods, which I wanted to murder.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. it was in January as well, like late January.
They were singing Christmas.
And they were singing Christmas songs, and they were bloody annoying. Yeah. But I'll forgive the dog.
It's still good.
But it was like I've never seen. I can rarely remember a scene with a chain gun used so imaginatively and so uniquely. I remember things like Predator. He gets the big chain gun and they
shoots Painless.
Yeah, Old Painless and but apart from that, I can't think of another kind of chain gun scene really off the top of my head.
No, not in that kind of vein.
Over the top sensation. I think there are, like you were saying, there were some kind of editing errors where I'm pretty sure I saw because most of the film she has a severed arm, but clearly the actress has both arms.
But that's it. We have to sort of look at it as well, where it's a case of like these films are ultra low budget, especially Machine Girl. There's a year between them, but you can clearly tell the difference in terms of budget between the Machine Girl and RoboGeisha. Even though RoboGeisha has some horrendous flaws towards the end of the film. You can see that there was more money pumped into choreography and
camera work,
technology,
all of
even acting to a certain degree.
I'd agree. So she starts off with that scene. Then we get the kind of origin, the backstory. We see it never really explains why the brother owes them. But I imagine it's the Yakuza. I imagine it's some kind of gambling debt or something.
Because there's no obvious drugs related incidents to any of it, or you just kind of guess. And a lot of things with these two films is that it's guesswork. So the parents are dead and everything, but there's never an explanation given to why they're just dead.
It's kind of just there was no they keep bringing up that her father was a murderer, or the parents were murderers.
But there's nothing else to it. It's just exposition.
It's just like and I think at I am JAC's musings said, hope you look forward to the expositionary dialogue, and there is a lot of that.
There is, to be
surprising amount of that. But I'm very much up for when these genre films come about. I think keep simple, keep easy, keep straightforward. And Machine Girl really does that. It just kind of grabs you and throws you in, and it's one kind of random fight scene after another. There's a little bit of plot in between because there's like a mechanic. One of the other boys, dog's still going. My God, what is he barking at? It's all right. We'll forgive him. He's a big dog. I'm not going to fight him.
Exactly.
He would bite my head off. He
might be trying to come through the door right now.
Maybe he thinks we're being too loud, too noisy. Who knows? So we have the kind of death of the there's two kids that die actually. It's Takeshi and
Takeshi's castle.
Takeshi and his castle. No, we'll talk about the castle in RoboGeisha. We're not on there just yet. But
it's all connected.
So we see that in Takeshi and I can't remember the brother's name now.
No, I can't.
Is it Kimura? No, that's the evil family's Kimura's, I think.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Whatever his name is, he's Machine Girl's brother. I think she's called Army. Army or Army. However you pronounce it. But so they both die, and the mother, we think it's the mother, I think, of Takeshi is not very happy that she blames her for her brother for leading him down a dark path and getting him killed, because they both get thrown out of this car park, don't they? They kind of get thrown off the top of a car park. But there's a kind of while that's happening, while that whole kind of they manage to fight back as well with the Yakuza. They don't just kind of
they give them a good hiding.
They do before they get thrown off. And she's attacked by these kind of locals, isn't she? Almost sexually assaulted. Right?
It's really weird. Yeah. There's loads of really weird bits like that in it where
it's very exploitation.
Especially the second one.
Oh yeah.
But that's a weird scene. It's like almost like a blink and you miss it scene where she
kicks over a coffee or something.
She actually runs into somebody holding a coffee, and the next thing she's being bundled into the back of a van. and having a shirt torn. And it's like, well, why is this included? Is it to slow her down from getting to her brother? I guess that's what it was supposed to be. But at the same time, it's like
it could be just
not really
far
necessary.
away. It could just be far away.
Yeah, because when her brother dies, they have like a weird sort of like spiritual moment where she hears him call her name.
Yeah,
and then she runs towards him. So it's like I don't know what the point of.
I think maybe the point was that it was to show that she could actually handle herself a little bit, kind of physically, like because there was like 5 guys. There's a bit where she just punches, like she kicks the arse of most of the guys, and the last guy she kind of just punches in the arm, and he goes and falls over.
Oh god,
he kind of just keels over. And he's like,
it's just like a swipe. It's more like a chop on the arm.
And he's like,
He collapses like he's just been like shot through the spine or something.
But so she gets there and she goes to the mother, and the mother's like, I can't get out of my face because I'm going to kill you for killing my son. They're kind of mechanics, aren't they? Her and the husband. They are. Yeah. Which yes, Machine Girl. It's in the title. And then she heads over to that's it. She goes over to this parent's house, and she's questioning the son. It's like a school friend about the Yakuza and where to find the kid who's involved in the bullying, and he's like, well, I don't really know, and I wouldn't want to say. I'm off to school, and then the parent, she's like, I'll better go too, but then the dad stops her and starts screaming at her, really out of the bizarre, and he's like, you've shamed your family, you're evil, you've got nothing to do, don't go anywhere near my son, he's a good boy. And then
my god, I don't even know how it just escalates so quickly.
In a second, all of a sudden he's found somehow he has a golf club in his hand. And he starts attacking her with a golf club like a samurai sword, and she's blocking it with the chair, and then he's just like, and then she the mum comes in, tries to stab her with a knife.
It's purely like it's like John Wick, but like family issues based. It comes out of nowhere. Completely comes out of nowhere, and then. Like it seems like it's settling down, but oh no, she actually the girl Amy accidentally dunks her hand in some batter, and conveniently the wife is cooking stuff in a fryer.
Yeah, so they tempura, I think, or something.
Tempura. They just tempura, is that the mattress? Tempura mattress. Tempura prawns.
Tenor lady.
Oh wait, well, probably. But then the wife forces Amy's hand into the fryer.
She's like, burning. It's
and then oh god, it goes crazy from there, doesn't it?
She pulls it out. It's like Kentucky Fried Chicken, isn't it? All the batter and everything's been like fried and what have you. And the mum, like she starts up being so nice in the initial scene. She's like, oh, would you like some food? And then all of a sudden she's like, dipping the arm
like a witch kind of cackle, isn't it?
And then she comes out, and all of a sudden for some reason the dad is kind of just waiting there, and then jumps back on screen, and he's got 2 golf clubs, and he starts fighting the 2 golf clubs. Oh, it's absolutely mental. Because I was thinking, I was kind of like, no, nothing's really happened for a while, and all of a sudden this just comes out of nowhere. And then it
seems to be the thing with the Machine Girl is that it is quite relentless in the sheer fact that stuff happens. And you don't really know why. Yeah. It just cracks on with it. It just keeps going and going and going, getting ever more absurd and ridiculous.
More violent, like ultra violent, ultra bloody.
Like it really is ultra violent. It's so violent. It's brilliant. Like the grotesqueness of it is fantastic.
Yeah, there's hands are shot in twain, bodies are shurikens are thrown at a body and then it explodes. And they have I think in Asian cinema there's this kind of thing where like bodies are like these high pressure blood bags, and like when you pop them, it's just like
for a mainstream audience, think Kill Bill. Whenever somebody gets like their arm amputated or gets beheaded, and you get that ridiculous spray. That ridiculous like water gun arterial spray. That is what is in both of these films constantly. You can't... Less so RoboGeisha. In Machine Girl, every time somebody gets hit by something, or stabbed or shot, the arterial spray.
There's only one.
It's like there's an artery in every part of the body, fingers, everything. Because she gets her fingers chopped off. Spray all over the walls, all over the camera.
There's only one moment I can remember where there's no like kind of sprinkler blood. is just when one of her kind of friends gets cut towards the end. It's like, it's like a poison. I think it's a poison blade, and she starts dying. But even then, it's like she pulls up her shirt, and you can see like the infection and stuff. But yeah, it's absolutely mental. I mean, that opening scene, going back to that opening scene, we're watching her chain gun down all these. Like there's I think one of the first shots is she has like a scythe, cuts the guy's hand off, and he holds the remainder of his arm for about, I don't know, 15 seconds, just spraying everywhere.
Easily
just
15 seconds.
He's like, and then he's trying to pick up his own hand, and he's like, and he's just spraying everywhere. But
she pummels this guy in the head with this massive
chain gun she has on her arm,
and it does like a weird sort of like, what did you describe it as? Space Invaders.
Yeah, kind of a Space Invaders, like
it cuts him from one side down and carries on right. down until it's just basically a bloody stump.
Yeah,
and then she carries on shooting it,
and it looks kind of like a Pac-Man stump. It's kind of got like a little mouth to it. It's quite. But
all the while there's like a guy sat next to him, like trying to hide, screaming while this bloody stump is being pummeled by thousands of rounds.
Yeah, and that's not the only bloody stump in the film. There's a lot of bloody stumps.
Almighty, yeah.
Jesus. I'm just trying to think. There's a bit where she comes like No, that's right. She comes back to the house after the parents attack her.
Yeah.
That's before she goes to the Yakuza house.
Yeah. So she's still got both arms at this point.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, after she's had her arm like
boiled,
a whole forearm deep fried, it's back to normal again. Like they reference it later on where the main Yakuza boss goes, "Oh, you've had a bad day. You've lost your fingers, and you've got a badly burnt arm." Well, her arm looks just as normal as mine. Yeah. It was no. That's the difference between like in the production things. Like
it's the continuity of it. Yeah,
they couldn't afford to do whatever they needed to do to make her arm look like it'd been burnt.
I thought maybe that later on she gets to the Yakuza house with the main villain who looks like Hitachi. Is it Hitachi from Tekken? Is it? Is that his name?
It's hair.
Oh, is it hair?
Something. Hitachi's the
Hitachi. Okay.
Hitachi's the make of TV, isn't it?
That's the one. But he has the kind of Wolverine style hair, and he's like the main Yakuza boss.
It's very very stylized towards old like 18th century like Yakuza samurai.
Well, he keeps talking about Hattori.
Like
is it Hattori
Hanzo?
Hattori Hanzo, which they mention in Kill Bill as this classic kind of Japanese swordsman.
Yeah. Whereas in Kill Bill, he's actually a character there.
Yeah.
In sort of like this, it's
the
legend of Hattori Hanzo.
Yeah. So she goes back to the parents, which is probably one of my favourite bits. She gets her revenge on the parents. She first of all, she gets the information from the son, whoever it is.
Yeah.
Cuts his head off, and then the mum's just cooking in this pan, this pot. She's like tasting it and everything, and then all of a sudden the head just bobs up. The severed head bobs up.
It reminded me of the scene in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom where the she asks for soup and the eyeballs pop up in the soup. It's exactly like that. This tiny pan, but a massive head just pops up in it. And then to make matters worse, Ami is like hiding behind her, and she stabs her through the back of the head, through the mouth. It doesn't end there though.
No.
The mum throws up, leaking lettuce or something, and then she throws up her own intestines.
Yeah, her tongue falls out first.
Yeah, tongue first.
And then her intestines, I don't know how, but to be honest, if you're going to watch these movies, take logic and leave it at the door, because you don't even bother questioning anything.
You have to watch these films. I mean, we got through The Machine Gun without having a beer, but at the end of it, we're like, my God, we need something to take the edge off.
It was just too much.
Because they are that ridiculous and they're fun. I'm not going to lie, they're very fun.
Yeah, I do recommend them both.
I would not be able to watch these films on my own though, that's the thing.
No, it's just a bit too much.
You have to watch them with somebody like-minded, somebody you're just going to have a bit of fun with and just go, this is going to be ridiculous, it's going to be shit. But you know what? I don't care.
That was your girlfriend Natalie came in while we were watching the end of RoboGeisha.
Yeah.
And my friend, we watched it till the end, and she caught the last 30 minutes maybe, and she went, You two don't half-watch some shit.
As soon as the credits started rolling, it's like a bad audience reaction. Oh, you two don't half-watch some shit.
That was my favourite comment. And I'm like,
it's very true.
You're not wrong, but I did enjoy these. But yeah, so she stabs in the head, and then my favourite bit though after that, like, so we see her vomit up everything, and they're all, and you can see in the kind of point of view shot where she's vomiting all this liquid, all this blood
onto her son's
severed head in this bowl. It's just so bizarre. The more I talk about it, the more bizarre it comes out. But it doesn't stop there. The dad's having a bath. She throws boiling water.
Yeah, she threw boiling water on him, so he's having a cool bath to basically cool his face.
Yeah. And he goes, I need my conditioner. Where's my conditioner? Asking his wife, and she's already dead by this point. And then she goes, I've got some unusual conditioner for you.
Yeah.
And
bursts open the door.
And he's like, oh no, it's you. And she's like, here, use your son's blood as conditioner. And she has the severed head of with the body of the son, and she squeezes it and sprays it with the son's blood all over him. It doesn't kill him, just sprays it with the blood and runs away.
But again, it's like 10 seconds of just pure arterial spray over the dad while he's in a bath. And the funny thing is, it goes on for that long that the makeup he's got on his cheek...
Oh yeah, it's coming apart.
Yeah, the makeup he's got on his cheek to simulate burns is flapping off and peeling off. The camera just holds on his face while he's being drenched in this blood that looks like it's come from a massive super soaker.
Most like American directors would just cut. They go, cut because it looks like it's shit. But he's like, nah, enjoy the uber violence.
But that in itself is like the greatest thing about the Machine Girl is how it holds those things that you'd think they'd cut away from in 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Yeah. It holds for an extra 7 seconds at the minimum until basically you just go, oh god, this is ridiculously great. And it never slows down, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't stop for a minute. Like there's
so many set pieces in what is it, an hour and a half?
Yeah, it's not more. It's not more than that.
It's just over an hour and a half. There's so many individual set pieces in this film. You have to admire it purely because it goes from one place to the next.
The martial arts, the sword play, gun play, whatever you want to call it.
Admittedly, the choreography isn't great in the Machine Girl.
No, but it's and the special effects are amazing. Like the practical effects, I think look great. Actually, I'm glad they used practical effects.
Yeah, because it is the same technique they use in Kill Bill.
Yeah,
the arterial spray when they sever somebody's arm. It's exactly the same technique,
and so
you have to look at that and go, yeah, you got that spot on. You can see that's where they put most of the money into was getting those sprays.
Yeah, it's gorgeous in a very dark and depressing kind of death dealing way. But yeah, we get into the scene with the house, the Yakuza gang in the house. We're seeing. So basically, that she's finally confronting the main kind of villains in it. We're gonna shoot through the last few bits of this, but she gets her arm cut off. There's this kind of like narrow hallway scene, and I noticed this in both the films as well. That when there's a lot of guns and shuriken and stuff like that being thrown, there seems to be a lot of missing. Even when they're like directly in front of them, the bullets are going like everywhere else.
If it was a shooter game like Call of Duty or Battlefield, the hit ratio would be 2%.
Yeah, if that. It's like watching, G.I. Joe versus Cobra or Stormtroopers versus the Rebel Alliance.
Think of the A-Team. The fact that the A-Team went through millions and millions of rounds in the old films and never killed a single person, as far as I'm aware. By all means.
No.
I never watched the A-Team religiously, but one of the things I always remember from my nan telling me about the A-Team was that nobody died, even though the A-Team just blew things apart.
Yeah, even if they had a horrible car crash, you'd see them walking out. So it's like in GoldenEye where he runs over them with a tank and then they still get out.
They still get out,
But yeah, so it's kind of like that. But
it's almost like that. There's literally, even when she's got this massive Gatling cannon, sure, she blows people away, but there are loads of periods where she's just basically spraying and they're just not going anywhere.
Yeah,
it's purely just for effect.
Yeah, I mean, and it looks good, but like the obviously with the distance she has between the camera and the people they're shooting, it's it's quite obvious that they would miss. There's a lot of flaws in logic, but again, we're talking about a woman with a fucking chain gun on her arm. arm. And people with, a chainsaw leg later on. There's a lot. We're probably not going to get around to talking about all the fight scenes and stuff. But there's a fight scene with a classic flying guillotine. If you've ever seen them, they're kind of on a chain and they're supposed to go around. Yeah,
that's with the main boss, isn't it?
Yeah, the main bad guy.
Hitachi,
we'll call him Hitachi.
Hitachi from Tekken.
But he has a flying guillotine, and he he pops it on somebody's head, and it slices them off, doesn't it?
It's one of the what were they called? The Super Mourners or something.
Oh yeah, that's it. It's very much like the Ginyu Force from Dragon Ball Z. They all have a weird dance and a pose that they have to do when they introduce themselves.
All the people that Amy's killed, they all have parents, obviously. But these parents team up, and Hitachi, that's not his name, by the way.
No,
just call him because he looks like
Hitachi. He looks like the character from Tekken.
Hitachi or whatever his name is. So he basically recruits them in this cult and corrupts their mind to make them think they're super powerful.
Oh, yeah.
And then they fight against Ami and her friend, who's given her the machine gun.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the flying guillotine, really, the first thing you see of it is one of the guys, one of the mourning family members, corners Ami against a tree, and then the guillotine accidentally lands on his head and lifts it off like it was polystyrene.
Pretty much.
And it's one of those things like throughout the machine gun, there are so many deaths like that where it's just like haphazard or
like an accident or something's happened.
Accidental or just like purely by chance that those people have been killed.
Even like the most skilled people in it still kill them by chance.
by pure chance, pure accidental.
I know. We really loved. There's a group of kind of ninjas turn up in midway through.
The Power Ranger ninjas.
Yeah, the Power Rangers and there's a bit where they combine all their katanas, all their samurai swords into a giant shuriken, which is genius. I'm surprised no one ever thought of it before.
Admittedly, it just doesn't do anything. It just flies away, doesn't it?
But there's a bit where the person's finally made the machine gun arm, and he's like, "Hey, I've made it!" And he throws it in the air, and she finally goes to grab it, goes to put her severed arm into it to use it for the first time, and he gets hit by loads of shuriken, smiles. And then we see that kind of damage, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Ugh!" And then he just explodes everywhere into a million pieces.
It was like, if you've ever seen Final Destination 2, where the guy that smokes all the weed, he gets hit by 2 razor fences, I think, and he just splits into about 4 pieces. It was like that, only 10 times more extreme. But then with those ninjas, once she's got the machine gun, they're blocking all the bullets with the swords, which is that's a Japanese it's a Japanese B-movie trope that bullets are always blocked with swords and whatever.
Yeah.
But she finally breaks through, hits one of the guys in the hand, and he collapses. But then he gets back up, and she blows his skin off of his skull. So it's just like a flapping jellyfish thing, and all you see is his skeletal skull and his eyeballs, and he's just bobbing around. It's like something out of Total Recall, when the eyes are popping out.
He's going, it does. It looks exactly like that. It's very kind of skeletal and stuff, but it's super, super violent.
It's so hard, it's so hard to really sort of describe how maddening the machine gun is.
It's absolutely crazy.
It feels like we've just basically, I think we have to be honest, just rambled on about how ridiculous this film is.
It has to be seen to be believed.
Yeah, and that's all. Yeah, you said it right there. To be fair,
honestly, some great fight scenes later on. I won't talk about any more because we want to go on to RoboGeisha because we're running low on time.
Yeah.
But I just want to mention the finale features someone urinating themselves.
Yes.
A drill bra.
Yes.
And the swapping of heads. Basically.
Well, top half head.
Top half, yeah. Kind of like a Pez dispenser.
Yeah.
So go and see. I won't spoil any more of it than that, but just absolutely.
By all means, if you can get a copy of the machine.
Yeah, it's on DVD. I've got it on DVD.
Yeah.
It is available. I've got it off eBay. I'm not sure if it's any streaming anywhere, but just grab a copy and watch it because it is phenomenally an amazing Japanese B-movie classic. So let's move on to the next one. So that would be the RoboGeisha.
RoboGeisha.
What have we got to say about it? What's the plot of the RoboGeisha?
Oh, 2 sisters, one who is a fully trained geisha, I suppose.
I guess are they both fully trained geishas?
Well, the younger of the sister is trying to sort of emulate her sister.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And basically they both want to be geishas. Jealousy ensues and
sibling rivalry.
Yeah, it's basically just a sibling rivalry film, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's a proposition from a businessman who is a tech genius, and his tech genius being, he creates super robotic ladies,
geisha assassins.
Exactly. That is basically it.
Yeah, and we see the kind of the difference between the two sisters, and one of them is kind of shy, more retiring, and kind of and has.
Was she the protagonist? She was the protagonist.
I'd argue she's the protagonist. Yeah, I can't remember.
It's not very clear though, is it?
No.
It's kind of like you're supposed to hate the older of the sisters, but
then you see a lot. You see a lot of vulnerability in her as well, and like why she's like that. But yeah, I think this one's a lot more kind of plot heavy. It was a lot more kind of there's a lot more kind of to follow and to
it's nowhere near as violent as And when I was looking at both of them, just by looking at the virtue of the cover and the story in the back, I assumed that RoboGeisha would be the more violent of the two.
Me too, actually. Me too. I thought this would be the more mad, the more insane, the more violent. I mean, it is potentially more mad and more insane and more weird. Yes. But I wouldn't say it's as violent.
No, it's nowhere near as violent. I think that's why... Is that why you picked the films the order to watch?
I thought because I thought Machine Girl would kind of warm us up to RoboGeisha, because I thought RoboGeisha would. I
got that feeling as well.
Would be like boom, but anyway, but yeah, it's it's basically the sibling rival. We've got the more retiring, shy, kind of geisha girl who kind of not necessarily abused by her sister so much, but she's bullied. She's bullied, but she does
that word bullied is used throughout the film, and we don't know whether that's to do with like the translation. Basically the Japanese language uses different words for bullied or whatever.
Yeah, we get the word shame a lot as well, don't we?
Shame, bullied, and other kind of similar words are used all the time.
And like we said, I think I don't know if there's something lost in the translation. Some of the dialogue is just weird. Just plain weird, like the way you like no human being who's speaking English would say anything in that way. But I think that obviously they're trying to get the message across as it was intended. But it doesn't always kind of.
I don't know whether that's just maybe the quality of sort of like the subtitle. Because I assume with these films I always assume that the people that do the subtitles are hired externally to subtitle the film. So when I think of like the John Woo film, Hard Boiled,
Hard Boiled.
The subtitling is perfect. It matches perfectly with the film. It's actually the dubbing that is worse, in my opinion, than the subtitling. And then there's other films as well, like 13 Assassins and things like that.
I've got that.
I've got a load of films.
I've watched it.
Yeah, I've got the Vengeance trilogy, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance.
I want to get around
the
to
subtitling for those films because they're massive films. I think it's more accurate.
They pay for.
So with these, there's clearly a lot of, I wouldn't say errors, just use of the same kind of words.
Yeah, maybe it's a grammatical thing.
I think
something
it is
like that, But so the plot kind of escalates. They kind of become involved in this Uber assassin company.
And it happens.
Kagano Steel, I want to say Kagano.
Yeah, Kagano Steel. Yeah,
Kagano Steel. So they're kind of a secret evil corporation.
Yeah, and they're building a massive bomb. That will devastate Japan to unify it. Yeah, which doesn't really make any sense.
Not really. But what does in this film?
Exactly. That's the thing, is that this film probably makes less sense than the Machine Girl did.
Yeah, and that didn't make any sense.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, it just, I'll be honest, I do find that this one is a slightly slower paced film. It's a bit more deliberate in its storytelling, a bit more like, this is the story, this is the characters, this is, which is not a bad thing. But I think because we're comparing them, that's something we'll get to later. But it's definitely very different. Like, even though it's the same director, it's the same style of film, it's almost the same genre and everything. Robotic women. They are very different films.
Yeah, they are. I mean, like you said, they are filmed almost exactly the same. The structure of the film, even the opening again has a very James Bond separate story opening. Like the sisters sisters are fighting at the beginning of the film, and one of them has a buzzsaw in her mouth. And she's trying to assassinate someone, and the younger of the sisters comes to stop her. That doesn't feature in the film at all. It's not part of the plot.
It's almost like a separate universe.
The only time they fight in this film is the climactic battle. So the opening, the pre-credit, like you could call it the pre-title credits, opening scene is a battle that has no consequence on the film. It doesn't connect at all.
It features a lot of the characters, so there's kind of I think they're called the Tengun, where these kind of robot assassins that have these. I don't know. There's a classical demon in Japanese mythology with a big red nose.
I can't remember what they call them.
I can't remember. I'm gonna say
it's like a fat. It's here on the front cover.
Yeah,
it's very phallic. So
yeah, it's kind of large nose.
Yeah. Which is classic Greek as well.
Yeah, kind of big demonic teeth and horns. I can't remember the name. I'm sure I'll Google it later, but that's kind of the classic. And even their bras have those characters.
Yeah,
that kind of demonic face on it. They feature the two main protagonists, if you will, feature, and it's just like it's almost like a separate mission, a separate thing. But then it goes again. We don't come back round to it. I do feel a little bit like we need something, but I also imagine like maybe it's like a trailer kind of, and it does. I mean, it grabs you both.
That's a good point, actually.
Could it be a trailer and they've just kind of slotted it in because they want people's attention straight away? You want to be like the second I saw the Machine Girl opening and RoboGeisha, I was like, yeah, I'm in, sold.
You know what? That's a pretty good point. Though I wonder if that is exactly what it is.
Yeah,
maybe it's like a buckle yourself in, Dorothy, because Kansas is going bye
exactly.
Kind of thing.
Now we get to the story, and now they build up the story, and then they get to the more kind of crazier, insane bits.
Yeah, I think you've probably hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, I don't know how they advertise in Japan and the way they market.
Because like I said to you when we were midway through RoboGeisha, I said I would love to go to Japan just to see a film like this. I'm like, because I imagine these films are either shown on a specific channel or late night screenings or things like that. I'd love to go and just watch maybe 2 or 3 of these films back to back.
See what the reaction.
They used to do that with the old samurai films, didn't they? The old kung fu movies. I would love to see. Well, that was mainly in America, admittedly, but I'd love to see these shown like back to back screenings or things like that. Just to see what the reaction is. Yeah. Just to see how people react. Yeah. Whether that opening moment is just to get people in the mood for it. And then here's the title, now we begin. Yeah. So like the opening 10 minutes are they are completely inconsequential to the story. Yeah, they don't have any connective tissue at all.
They're very enjoyable, very fun, very frenetic, very fast, very well filmed, choreographed well, and very enjoyable, but they have, you could watch them as a deleted scene.
That's almost how they were in my mind, but the whole idea of them being a trailer kind of makes sense, really.
Maybe. We don't know.
Well done, Dan.
That's all right. I sometimes have some wonderful observations. Some amazing observations. I wouldn't admit it. I wouldn't admit it very well, but it's... I think, for me, RoboGeisha is full of very weird... Like, we had lots of kind of crazy deaths in Machine Girl, but in RoboGeisha we have the most interesting weaponry and choices of weaponry that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, definitely. And Machine Girl is actually quite tame in terms of weapon choice because the whole I think Robert Rodriguez, we were talking before about Battle Angel, Planet Terror. Do you remember that film?
Yeah.
Planet Terror. She has a machine gun on her leg. So I'm wondering. Right. I think Planet Terror came out first.
Yeah.
By a clear margin, I think it was like 2005.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, that's
so. It's highly likely. Right. It's highly likely that Mr. Iguchi or whatever it's called. Beg your pardon. If you're listening, Mr. Iguchi, we love your film.
We love you. We love both of these films, Mr. Iguchi.
So I'm wondering if they
could have been inspired. Yeah. Well, I mean, the opening of Machine Girl is very much like a Tarantino. Do you remember the text?
Yes,
and stuff like that. Yeah, it is. And it's very much got that kind of similar soundtrack. And I was like, oh, they're going for a very grindhouse feel.
And we said, didn't we? Well, you said about halfway through Machine Girl, you said, I can imagine Mr. Tarantino has seen this film.
He has. He must have.
He must have seen this film because he's very big on Japanese B movies and Japanese kung fu movies, so I'd put money on the fact that you've seen this.
I would definitely put money on. But let's talk about some of the weaponry they use. So,
oh Jesus!
So
where do you start?
Yeah, where do we go? I think the most interesting one I saw was the butt shurikens that came out. So the butt ninja stars.
Yes.
That came out.
So bear in mind that the all of these geishas, they are machines from top to bottom. They literally say that in the film.
Yeah.
I am no longer human. I am. They use a specific word for it. Pardon me, I can't remember what it is, but I am robot from top to bottom, and that is literal. It is a literal statement. They have They had that. You said the Bushruckens.
Breast milk from hell.
Breast milk from hell that the demons use.
Yeah.
But they are machines as well, which is strange.
But they seem less machine-like than the Geishas, weirdly. Yeah. Even though they are. But, I mean, later, spoilers, but they get shot later on, like, just by regular bullets and die. Yeah. But then the RoboGeisha's, like, pretty much bulletproof.
Yeah, they're completely invincible.
Yeah.
Up to a point.
Up to a point, apart from getting her legs blown off. Yeah. But there's a few other ones. I mean, I'll be honest.
Under armpit blades.
Yeah. My favourite quote from the film would be, when I pose sexily, the blades come out, which is her kind of putting her hands behind her head, and the katana sword like blades come out of her armpits.
So if you think like a bikini shoot where someone's posing with their arms behind hands behind the head,
elbows up.
Yeah, elbows up. Blades literally come out of her armpits.
Yeah.
And impale two guys that she allows to get up to try and escape.
Now this is a very big blunder. This is massive continuity. I was like, it was a massive continuity.
It's not current continuity, is it? It can't, because it's brazen.
It's that brazen. So basically, there's the kind of there's a bit where it's kind of again. It's another scene where it's a very short room, very small room, and they're shooting guns and they're totally missing. Even though they're two. Like, this is the most blatant version of this, where they're 2 feet away and they're like, you can't hit them, and I'm like, you should be able to hit, at least like graze them.
Even I can believe them from where they're
they've got
using high-powered pistols, and literally like spraying on the like.
It's quite funny because they've got these concrete slabs tied to their legs so they can't get up.
Yeah,
they're like, so they're getting shot at, and then they get her sister comes in because she's kind of proven herself. She gets defeated by let's say the main RoboGeisha. The nice RoboGeisha versus the horrible RoboGeisha.
Yeah, we'll use that from now on.
Yeah, well, that's probably the best way because I can't remember the names, unfortunately. I think the nice one was Yoshi, I think.
Yes, it was. Yeah,
I think it was. We'll say Yoshi and her sister. So Yoshi defeats her sister, and she's forced to just clean up, and she can't be an assassin. Yeah, and then she kind of turns it around by shaming another Geisha who won't kill or won't do what she wants. But yeah, so they have that fight. Where am I going with this? But yeah, they come back later. So she says, because she's proven herself. And there's a girl who won't commit suicide for being shamed, the harakiri. She's like, I can't do it. And then the horrible sister cuts her head off and proves herself. And then she's like, I want to be a machine, and I'm this mark that my sister gave me, I'm ashamed of it, and it's a sign of dishonour. So then, like any normal human being does, goes, give me machine gun breasts instead.
Yeah. So she comes into this room.
That's it.
After these other 3 geishas have completely missed her shooting these guys, she comes in and obliterates them completely.
Yeah. Just kind of, she taps one breast and the other.
It's like she's using a pump, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of a chain gun. There's a chain gun on one breast and a pump on the other, and that's how it fires. Yeah. So they get shot. So the inaccuracy that I'm bringing up is that the next scene, there's a similar scene where where Yoshi comes in and she's got the blades under her arms and she wants to show off because everyone's still missing them even though they're 2 feet away.
Yes.
She comes in and she poses sexily, like she says. The blades come out, she kills them, but it's the same guys. It's the exact same guys that have just been shot.
Bad sister obliterates them using a Gatling gun. Yeah. Gatling gun boob, and then good sister obliterates them again using
the armpit blades.
Armpit swords.
Yeah. So it's the exact same guys in the same position, in the same kind of layout.
The very same, because when it popped up, I thought the DVD had skipped back.
No. Did you really?
Yeah, initially, for a split second.
Because it's the same shot.
Yeah, it's literally the same shot. Like, the guys are squirming and like crying while they're being shot at. For a split moment, I thought, oh, the DVD skipped back. But then, obviously, the good sister comes in, and I went, eh?
Yeah,
and then
this?
You went, how are they still alive?
Yeah.
And then, it just doesn't make any sense.
There was an inaccuracy, well, not an inaccuracy,
it's quite clear that the guys get murdered by machine guns because they both get shot in the head.
In the face, several times.
There's bullet holes.
Blood spurting out.
There's bullet holes in
and
the
head. And they fall over. Yeah. Yeah, there's no way you survive that unless you're a RoboGeisha yourself.
Yeah, and it's quite clear that they're not robots either. Because literally they explode.
I like what there's a training montage of Yoshi early on in the film. Yes, I like what you pointed out. There's this bit where it's like boiling water. They're putting hands in to kind of strengthen their resolve to be these killers.
Yeah.
and she's counting the attempts it takes her to do it, and it said how many times?
2,152.
Yeah,
I think.
And so the whole point is there's some meat at the bottom of this boiling hot bowl. Like, to be honest, by that point, the bowl's going to be pretty cool, I think.
Well, yeah.
By 2,512 attempts.
Yes.
But you were like, you were like, bullshit. Call bullshit on that.
It's the only thing I called bullshit in the entire film. from working in the kitchen in Weatherspoon. Oh, I shouldn't really say that. But yeah, from working in the kitchen.
It's alright. You like your job. You like your job.
I do. I'm not going to reveal my job title in case I get in more trouble. But yeah, you just pick out a sauce from a pan and you go, deal with it.
Ow.
But no, 2,152 or 512 attempts
I think
just to get a piece of meat out. And literally the meat is floating on the top of the water, you can see it. And she finally gets out and they're like, yay,
well done, you're going to be a geisha like us.
And I don't know, it says, it speaks, it's weird. It speaks about the film when that's the thing that bugs me. Yeah. Nothing else in the film.
Nothing. Yeah.
Oh, well, there's a few things in this one compared to the Machine Girl that bug me more, but that little thing, I don't know why. Yeah. Why put that in there? It doesn't make any sense. Because it's stupid. Of all the things that are stupid in this film, that's the most stupid thing because it's the most realistic thing that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Because
it's a bowl of hot water. If you drop something in, you put your hand in and go, fuck, I've got it out straight away. Yeah. The sheer fact that they spend so much time clearly on that training, and it took 2,000 plus attempts to get a piece of meat out of a boiling pot, as opposed to anything else in the film where it's having a mask that covers your face like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
There's guns in your head.
There's
blades in your bum.
Yeah, there's in your shins. There's like a hatchet that pops out. Sock blade. That was it.
Socks
of all the things that are ridiculous in this film, some girl being one of the assassins being stabbed in the arse.
She dies from being stabbed in the arse. And we were like, I can't believe that just happened.
It's a bit. This one's a bit more sort of fruity.
Risque.
It's a bit more risque.
It's more. I think it's more sexually overt.
Yes, it is. It's, you can imagine this is the one that they play late at night, like 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, purely because it's a bit more.
Yeah. It's a bit more kind of like Machine Girls.
It's one of the things I didn't like about this film, if I'm being quite honest.
Yeah, I think because it's the geisha aspect of it. I think there's it's
going to be more sexual.
Yeah, there's going to be more. You know, they're hand servants. Yeah. Like, I don't know much about geishas, but I know they're hand servants and they're sexual partners in some respects, depending on the person and time and stuff. Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the history of geishas.
Yeah, but of all the things that really pissed me off, and I didn't like the thing picking out a piece of meat from a boiling pot was the most ridiculous thing in the film for me. It's weird. It's weird what you pick up.
Yeah, I mean we see a lot of kind of boiling water kind of thrown in these films as well, and kind of they're dealing with these kind of hot liquids and stuff, and we see like scarring.
It's hard.
But there's also a bit like. It's like I know we're probably pulling things out, pulling things out. But there's a bit where the girl stabs her sister into a pillar during the first fight they have. They're like, "I'm going to be the best geisha. I need to survive. I'm going to kill you." She's got a blade in her arm. This kind of Assassin's Creed type blade pops out.
Oh yeah.
And she stabs her sister, and she goes into a pillar, and she's like, "I'm going to kill you now." And then there's the next shot. She's got it's like a close up from the evil sister's point of view of Yoshi, but she's not stabbed. She's fine. There's no wound there.
She's not even impaled on the pillar, is she?
No, she's not even.
It implies that she full on impales her on the pillar, and pins her.
Yeah, and she's like, even the guys watching, like, finally she's reached the pinnacle of her anger. That's why the blades come out. She's going to finish her now. Yeah. And she's like, she makes the noise, and but then the next second she's fine. So and this is before any cybernetic enhancements. She gets. So it's just a bit of bad editing. That's my biggest criticism of these films. It's just a few bits of continuity errors and editing issues.
But again, it's very, very typical of B movies.
Yeah, exactly.
So typical of B movies.
And that's why I forgive it. I forgive it. But it gets weirder. So like about halfway through the film, she meets this group of people randomly that she's supposed to kill. Yeah. And these, I don't know what it is about missing children or dead children and wearing their image on your chest because it happens in both films.
Yeah, it does. It's bizarre.
Bizarre. The Super Mourner Squad from Machine Girl, where they wear the pictures of their children. They even say their children's names as they die, like they failed them. But these guys, all the girls that have gone missing and become these killer geishas or RoboGeishas. These families are looking for them, and she's been ordered to kill them. And then they're like, okay, we'll forgive you, don't worry. And then she goes to kill these two other guys, these kind of like creepy, weird guys. And she, the first guy, she's like, oh, yeah, it's all creepy and weird. And he's like, oh, I want you to, you must like me, you must be sexually attracted to me if you, come around my house. And then she gets 2 tempura prawns. Don't know what it is about prawns, but they're tempura prawns, but they...
Oh, yeah.
And she rams them in his eyes. Yeah. And he's walking around like, my eyes, the prawns, my eyes. And then the brothers try shooting her, and then she deflects all the bullets again. And then
she grab his chest. And he goes, oh no, you've activated the suicide vest.
Yeah.
What?
He's got like the thinnest kind of like Hawaiian shirt on or what have you. And then all of a sudden he's like got this full on suicide bomb.
Suicide vest.
Like loads of sticks of dynamite and everything. And then she starts to be honest, in this scene I expected it to be quite bloody, but again it really wasn't.
Yeah.
It was more comical and weird. And she starts karate chopping his head, and his head disappears between his shoulders into his chest. Like a cartoon, and then it pops back up. And every time he does it, he kind of vomits up what he's been eating. So there's a bit of lettuce and noodles. And
it always seems to be lettuce and noodles.
Lettuce and noodles and stuff. It just keeps popping up. And he keeps popping up saying that he's going to destroy, he starts talking about
they've got a bomb, they're going to use it to blow up Mount Fuji.
Yeah, Mount Fuji and stuff. And she's like, oh, right, I've been set up by the people I work for.
Yeah, it's literally just like an exposition dump. Yeah. Like, this is the plot going forward. Yeah. This is all you get in.
Now she's going to fight them. Yeah. And she's saved by these older people that she met before who have the missing girls, and she wants to save them. And then she basically when this bomb goes off, she has her legs blown off completely, completely off. And then they fix her, and then they shut her down, and they go and confront the main villain and the son, the evil son.
In their castle business.
In their castle, yeah. And they end up they stop kind of one-upping each other, don't they? Like, I've got this, and I've got this, and I've got this. And they can't just keep shooting. And there's all these I loved all these old people. They're just getting kind of pointing guns at people. Like, you rarely see that, like a group of like old people just pointing guns.
Yeah, pensioners with attitude.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But there's even this guy. The main surprise is the guy in the wheelchair is supposed to be this like senile old guy, and
but
he knows everything. Not. Yeah, it's clearly not. And he's a cyborg as well, because he's got a gun for a leg, like a knee gun. So every time he slaps his knee, it goes off. And there's a scene where he's rolling down a corridor, and he keeps slapping it too aggressively. And he's like, oh no, I've switched it to automatic, and then he keeps going pew 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 pew.
While all these bad geishas are getting blown away that turn out to be their family members. Yeah, they just don't care anymore.
There's a bit where the guy goes, bam bam bam, shoots him, and he goes, oh wait, aren't you my sister? And then the sister stabs him. And he went, oh, just to find you, only to die. I think we have to talk about the castle robot now.
Yeah,
I think this is the way we do that.
So the good geisha is on her way to basically try and save all the old people from their own doom, but the business, like what was it? Something steel.
Kagano Steel.
Kagano Steel. The actual building itself is a machine as well.
It's a mech kind of.
It's like it's a classic Japanese castle, feudal castle,
pagoda or whatever you call it,
and it full on becomes like a giant, like in Power Rangers.
Megazord.
In Power Rangers, where the villains go massive.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that.
Monster, growl!
It's exactly like that, and it starts walking towards Mount Fuji, and with the sole intention of putting the bomb in Mount Fuji to wipe out Japan, to reset the balance or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
you're going to kill everyone to reset the balance.
They're insane. Just like this movie.
So, good geisha is on her way. Good sister, rather. She's on her way. And she turns into a tank, which is fair enough.
Why not? She's struggling with her new legs, and then she plays her instrument, whatever it is. Yeah. It's kind of like a sitar almost.
Yeah, it is, Not something like that, yeah.
But she plays it, and she finds her... gets her groove back, or whatever you call it.
Becomes a tank and then rolls inside of a building.
Yeah. She kind of looks like... If you've ever read X-Men comics, there's a group called the Reavers, which I think kind of sort of feature in Old Man Logan, the movie Logan. But there's a character called Bonebreaker who's basically his lower body is just a tank, which I think is is pretty awesome. Like he's in a gang of racist cyborgs, but I kind of like his design.
Yeah.
He even turned up in a Punisher video game once as well with a tank body, as you do. But yeah, it kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah.
She kind of jumps past. Like we said, she's kind of invincible at this point, isn't she? She jumps past the robot. She doesn't really fight it, and then she doesn't even break through the building. She just kind of appears inside.
Yeah. She goes up a ramp or something, like a crane or something that's been badly damaged. This is all after the robot starts smashing up buildings that bleed themselves. The buildings literally bleed when this castle robot decides to smash them.
So we've had all this sprinkler blood, but we didn't really expect it coming out of a full building that gets smashed.
And it literally says in the back of the DVD as well, throw in the buildings that bleed. Yes, that literally happens. There are literally buildings that bleed when they get hit.
If you buy these DVDs, read the back before you even start, because it just lists all the crazy shit that happens.
Yeah.
Look, it even says on RoboGeisha, it says in bold capital letters, jaw-dropping craziness, which is exactly what both of these films are.
Butt blades versus wig napalm and machine breasts. Yeah,
and on the Machine Girl DVD cover, we've got nail-gunned faces, finger sushi, exploding torsos, and the soon-to-be legendary drill bra. You know, they're selling their craziness because they know how blatantly absurd both of them are. But yeah, not the finale, but the fight. The fight after she jumps into the pagoda features the two Tengun ladies with the big noses, the red demon faces.
Which is stupid.
Stupid anyway. But then they all get their butt blades out. So they grow these... I mean, it's the most bizarre fight sequence you've ever seen in your life. They're having a sword fight with their arses.
Yeah, and it's a bit cringy.
It is a bit cringy. It's a bit weird, like... Points for uniqueness.
Even for a B movie, it's a bit like, what the hell are you doing?
I think there's a little bit like, obviously it's exploitation cinema, isn't it? It's like we're doing
this one definitely is more.
There's not really gratuitous nudity, but there is gratuitous sexuality. There's no nudity whatsoever in either of these films. I'm not sure if that's a cultural thing in Japan or what have you. But there's none at all. But then. We need to talk about the final set again. Like I think we're pulling a lot of holes in this particular one, but it's not. We really did enjoy it. But the final scene has the main villain, the kind of young, not the father, but the young guy who runs Kagano Steel.
Yeah,
and he's kind of got these, I don't know, like body horror tubes linked to his arms.
Yeah, it's like almost like tentacles that have come from the building.
Very hentai kind of sort of stuff.
They mould to him so he can control the movement of the building. Bearing in mind that the building's been moving on its own anyway. Yeah. Yet all of a sudden he's the only one that can control its movements. Yeah. Which you literally see him connect up to it.
And he's like, I can control it now, and you see, and this is the point where the pagoda, the robot, the mech, the Megazord, whatever you want to call it, starts literally doing the robot.
Yeah, the fight
starts literally doing the robot.
Good Geisha's fighting. Well, yeah, because the good Geisha and bad Geisha, they have a fight against each other, don't they? And then they realise they need each other. And then they join as one.
Yeah.
As like a body swapping thing.
Yeah, kind of one.
They join together. Two sisters become
combined.
Yeah, combine, and they love each other again. They respect each other.
Yeah.
So they team up against main bad guy.
Yeah.
And as they're beating him, when he's trying to block them, he's literally doing the robot dance.
Yeah, and he does he kind of does the you know when you link your arms with you stretch out your arms and you link and you kind of do a wave thing. Yeah. And you kind of from the tips of your fingers with somebody else.
Awful.
Yeah, it was a bit cringy, but
to top that off,
the set is the worst thing I've seen in a film in a long time. Yeah. It is all made of cardboard, clearly made of cardboard. Shockingly bad anyway, hand drawn, like with a marker.
Yeah.
Badly painted, like they've done one kind of gloss of it. And the worst thing, like the tubes look fine. I didn't have a problem with the kind of hentai tube things. They were fine. I think they would have worked. I don't know why they need this anyway, because it was moving on its own fine before.
Yeah, it was, That's
but then, round his waist is blue fairy lights.
Yeah, it's like
there's no
Christmas
other
tree.
It looks like there's no other way to describe it. It's blue fairy lights. And it just makes it look cheap as fuck. I could probably ignore the cardboard, but the fact they put blue fairy lights around him, and they don't seem like at least dress them up a little, do something with them, put them in.
Yeah, because it's really bizarre, isn't it? You can tell all the way through RoboGeisha that this film had more of a budget than the Machine Girl. Yeah, it seems like they blew all the budget earlier on with other things. But this final sequence was like, oh god, it's like they filmed it from minute 1 to minute 90, and then when they got to minute 80, they went, we've got no money. What do we do? Oh, just put some cardboard up and sellotape it. Use a marker to draw out some.
Just do it.
Just get it all together. Yeah. Get them lights. Hook him up. It just looked like that. It looked like it was very haphazardly put together in the end.
Yeah,
which was a bit of a shame as well, really.
Because it was going so well, and it was just and everything else looked great. The special effects looked great. Considering how weird and wacky they are. Even the tank situation where she's got a tank for half her body. You could let it pass. Couldn't you? A lot of it, and it was. And I did again a lot of use of physical proper effects as opposed to digital, which they could have easily have done. They could have gone, "Oh, we'll do everything digital," but no, they understand the need for physical props and costume and things like that. Yeah. All right, so I think we've come to the point where we have to begin the Clone Wars and compare the two films. I think we have to do that right now. So I break it down. Usually, I've only done one before, but usually I break it down into 5 different categories. Mm-hmm. So for the comparison. So first of all, like we don't have to agree together. You can have you can have a differing opinion to me on this. So there's 5 categories. So it's writing, acting, music, cinematography, and direction. Okay.
Yes.
So let's go full on into the writing. So, which was better? Simply like.
For me, I think the Machine Girl was better with writing. I think purely because it worked. It just worked better.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was much more cohesive. What was going on?
Yeah. It was more consistent.
Yeah. But then the writing style is very similar between the two.
Yeah, definitely.
Right the way from sort of like the very beginning, the narration you get through it, the way the bad guys talk.
Yeah.
It's all very, very similar. It's like the director and the writer. I don't know whether
I think he wrote both. Well, yeah,
it's like it has bullet points. Then he goes, "I need to hit these bullet points at this specific point in both of these films," and it does that.
Yeah, I mean that might be his writing style that he wants to kind of break it down. Like we said, they're very similar in the layout of their films. In
all aspects.
Yeah, the hero we have this opening sequence that doesn't really connect with anything, but showcases the hero at their pinnacle. Then we have the origin story. We have them, failing and falling, and then rising again, and completing their mission, and then continuing on like a standard kind of superhero tropes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, I think, RoboGeisha is a lot more there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more, it's not as straightforward a story. It's there's a lot of kind of cultural aspects to it that I'm not sure that I know about or have that much kind of understanding about. But if I knew
downright to sort of like, downright to the way the shame, the way they look. They
talk about each
say that so
shame.
many times. The position you have at the minute is very shameful. Yeah. Like when one of the geishas has been attacked or something, they fall over and they pose in a specific way. Yeah. It's like very shameful your pose. Yeah. It's very shameful what you're wearing.
It's very judgmental.
When they use the butt swords, they're
going shame. Look at us dueling like this.
Good geisha and the 2 demons. Yeah. They're both shaming each other.
Yeah.
They say, look at you're shameful as well. And she goes, yes, you're shameful, but I'm shameful as well, and gets out a butt sword.
It's kind of this
really
weird kind of.
That's purely. I think.
But I'd argue that that happens in the UK as well.
Yeah, it does.
Some women will shame each other culturally. It's not a good thing, but it does happen. Even in the like, oh, I don't like her. I don't like the way she dresses. I don't like this. And it'll happen with men as well. It happens with all types of people. We're not keen on somebody. We'll find something different. We'll tear it from them, which is not great, but it does. Unfortunately, it does happen. But I think I do agree with you that Machine Girl is a clear-cut, straightforward revenge movie. Gets to the point. I don't think you even need subtitles for Machine Girl. You get it.
You do. That's the thing about it. Like the writing the writing lets down RoboGeisha more than it does Machine Girl. Yeah. Because to be quite honest, because of how madcap RoboGeisha is, you need
a bit of grounding.
You need to read it Whereas the Machine Girl, there are moments, like, especially when it's going so balls to the wall,
you switch off and you can't
just go,
yeah.
I'll just watch it at this moment because I know exactly what's going on. I know why this is happening.
And I think I think he was trying to be a bit more. I don't know if it was a bit more artsy or a bit more. Because this is the Machine Girl's very exploitative. They're both kind of exploitation, cult,
definitely.
B movie, that sort of thing. But I do feel like he was trying to get out of that mold a little bit in RoboGeisha, and I'm not sure if it. Because obviously, I think someone's gone, love Machine Girl, make that the same, make it again, do something different with it. But we really love it. Producers, because I think it's by the same company, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not as kind of fun or as wacky. There's a lot of kind of long scenes of people like discussing honour and shame and family going missing and things like that. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the writing of Machine. I think some of the dialogue is weirder in RoboGeisha as well. It's just odd, like the way it's written and the way. Again, that could be the translation.
The old people when they get cornered.
Yeah,
they go, "Oh, the three of us together, we're going to die. Such a shame."
Such a shame. And then they just turn the wheelchair around and they run out because again, it's another scene where they're shooting machine guns all over the show and nobody gets hit. Or the wrong people get hit. But even though they're in the line of fire, they should get hit. The two main villains have these kind of shoulder guns and they kind of bend over and they shoot out the top of their shoulders.
Fucking hell, yeah!
It's quite
Jesus
funny.
Christ.
It's quite funny. But yeah, I'm gonna agree with you there that I think Machine Girl's story as a whole. All it is all you need to know is she wants revenge. She had her arm cut off. She's got a gun on it. That's all you need to know, really.
Yeah, exactly.
With RoboGeisha,
the writing just deals with that.
Yeah, and the RoboGeisha is, again, I like what he's trying to do. I like what he's trying to say about sisterly love and the rivalry, and like some of the other elements. But I totally agree with you. Machine Girl gets the first point from me, point from Andy.
Yes,
so
definitely.
let's move on to acting. So the acting in both was it's very stylized, kind of over the top Japanese action.
Extremely over the top.
If you've watched any anime, if you've watched any Japanese film, they're very passionate people. They're very kind of intense and expressive and very showy in their performance, and that's a great thing. That's an amazing thing. And I think these are the kind of classical style. I don't know if because they're B movies, they're even more over the top or they're even more kind of stylized because of that. But what do you think? Who do you think? Which film do you think had the better?
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
It really is a tricky one because like the lead girl she's in both of them.
I think
as
it's Azami. I think she's called.
Yeah. It's really difficult.
It is tough. Yeah.
It's really, really difficult. I'd probably go. I'd probably go for RoboGeisha in terms of the acting because it is that much more over the top.
Yeah.
They seem to meld into it. I don't know. It's hard to explain, really. Because they're that over the top, they have to invest more into it.
Yeah.
So when the girl,
they've got to believe
when good Geisha is being a Geisha, she's very like doll-like. She's very very reserved, and then she does that extreme violence,
like twitches. And, all
so
that
there's a bit more subtlety to certain parts of it as opposed to it is in Machine Girl. So I would go for RoboGeisha with the acting.
Yeah, I think with Machine Girl, it's more the set pieces. It's more the kind of. Again, the acting is very intense. It's very good, and I feel like there's a lot of emoting they're doing. But I think you are right. I think you need RoboGeisha. Like Machine Girl is basically it's still a revenge movie. The only really weird bit is the fact that they have these kind of weird machines. The gun is weird. The drill bra is weird.
Yeah.
But really, apart from that, it's relatively. I don't want to say grounded because it's absolutely not grounded.
Nowhere near. Yeah.
But it's not as bizarre and kind of transmorphic and all these kind of weird changes. There's not a fucking giant pagoda robot.
Trying to drop a bomb down.
It's a very supervillain James Bond-esque kind of stuff. It is. Machine Girl's very straightforward, very good. But I think I did really enjoy the kind of the. There are more of them, so I think I notice it more in RoboGeisha that there's more of those quiet moments, more of those emotional moments, especially between the two sisters. And it is all about family, and I kind of wish that we saw the Machine Girl's family, because all they're done is talked about.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of exposition in the Machine Girl as opposed to RoboGeisha, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's like RoboGeisha is pretty much, apart from the odd time, there's a lot of exposition in both of these.
Yeah.
But
in both of them. Yeah.
But we see it's very much a show don't tell kind of thing, and I think RoboGeisha shows more than it tells, and Machine Girl definitely tells more than it shows in regards to their emotional kind of crux of the film, the emotional content. But the scenes with the sisters really did work, and they really, they sold me. Even the scenes with the sisters, they're not the sisters, the older people that are like, they're missing their family.
They're it's much more developed than the
it's clean cut. And
the Venging Mourners or whatever they were.
I mean, in Machine Girl, there's more characters that are just plain fucking evil, and even the parents who, their sons get, the ninjas get murdered, and the parents become the Super Mourner Squad and fight them.
Super Mourner Squad.
There's more kind of villains to, that are just evil for the sake of being evil, which is fine, and I enjoy that, and I also really like relatable villains as well. But I think for this film, for Machine Girl, they would have to be like that, and they are very much like that in RoboGeisha. But again, I have to agree with you. I think RoboGeisha had the better emotional acting performances, because they do spend a lot of time kind of setting up that dynamic between the two sisters. And again, that comes to the fore in the final scene, and throughout there's very much, and they play back and forth, and the rivalry, and like one of them's treating them like shit, and the other one's on the back burner, and they swap over and the transition. So there's a lot of dynamic in that, but there's not that much in Machine Girl, because basically Machine Girl wants revenge, Machine Girl gets revenge.
Yeah.
So I think
precisely.
I think that's what we said. So that's one to RoboGeisha and one to Machine Girl for both of us. Next one is the music.
Oh no. I don't think there is any difference in the music between them.
Yeah,
It's because the music is very. Okay, you get some of like the sort of like the.
I think in RoboGeisha, I noticed a lot of musical cues from other films. Like, there's an opening sequence where I think it's very much a James Bond theme.
Yeah.
Or I
can't remember what it sounded like.
I can't. I'd have to watch it again. I feel like it's a mid-90s one. Like Tomorrow Never Dies or A Golden Eye or something like that. But it was very much like...
It sounded like it, didn't it?
And then later on where she's turned into a
RoboCop.
tank. Yeah, it sounds like RoboCop. It's like... I can't remember the RoboCop theme off the top of my head now.
No.
But it does sound... I was like, yeah, it's fucking RoboCop.
Yeah, but then they do intersperse like the music between the two of them, like this
new
generic metal kind of
like
sound, and then the odd occasion like violin things. There's very little to separate either of them.
I can't. I'll be honest. Apart from those you've mentioned, I can't really remember much of the other music.
I can't. That's the thing.
I just remember like
It's literally just there because it needed to be there. There's literally nothing else.
There's like they can't. I think they put it in. I mean, it's there to obviously it's throughout the films undercutting them and the undercurrent of the film. But I can't go, I don't think Interstellar score where I'm like, oh my God, this makes the film. Yeah. I'm not thinking about things like that. I'm not going, this is, it's not, Christopher Reeve's Superman, John Williams theme or anything like that, or it's a Danny Elfman Batman or anything. I just go, there was music.
Yeah, that's just it. There was literally, it was just there, wasn't it?
It was there.
They've just ambient.
They picked whatever they could, whatever they can afford, and gone, stick that there, stick that style music there, stick that style. It does ramp up during the fight scenes, but by that point you're already into the fight scenes anyway. So you do need it, of course, but it's not the most important thing.
There's nothing memorable about it. That's the thing.
No, exactly. I think that's the thing. So what we saying? We're just going to kind of like.
I don't think they get either of it, do they? Neither of them get it.
So yeah,
by virtue of the fact that it's null and void.
Yeah, I think for both of them, I couldn't. I only noticed it in RoboGeisha because it was similar to ones I've heard.
But that's not a boon. Remember. That's more like you've ripped that off and gone away with it.
And Machine Girl is like I couldn't remember any bit of music apart from some metal going on here and there.
But the only reason we realised that was because if you were doing your cult film thing, you'd
I tell you
metal on.
I tell you what. Let's give. I'll give one to Machine Girl. You give one to RoboGeisha, and then that way it's kind of even.
So they got 2 each.
Yeah, so they got 2 each. So they're both still on even.
All right, yeah, we'll go with
both
that.
On even.
We'll go with that then.
Because if they draw, then we're gonna have to. Because there's only 5 categories.
Yeah.
Cinematography. So we were saying that Machine Girl had a lower budget, weren't we?
Yeah.
Clearly has a lower budget.
Definitely.
So the quality of the filming, be it the technology of the camera, and the overall cinematography, maybe suffers a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but at the same time, there's something quite charming about, especially when they do the hallway fight scene.
Yeah.
With how, like, even though it's really tight, you can see they've figured out where they want the camera to be at all times and everything.
They have.
Whereas RoboGeisha, a greater budget does, as I said to you, better budget does not make a better film.
It certainly does not. Does not.
There's no moments. There's some good shots of RoboGeisha, but there's no moments where you're like, look how they, like with the corridor scene in
and the shuriken are coming down the corridor and she's dodging them all.
There's no moments like that. It's very much more static in RoboGeisha.
Yeah.
I don't include, it's like when the mech's climbing up Mount Fuji or she's on the tank. Yeah. Those are effects. That's not cinematography in my opinion. Cinematography is when you create, when you're getting right in, you're making the shots out of restricted areas.
Yeah.
That for me, that's good cinematography. When you're going, we can do this shot. If we just put the camera here and we change it there, then we can make it work. For me, that's what good cinematography is about.
Definitely.
It's about adapting to the needs of the director. So
entirely right.
For me, I would go for the Machine Girl.
Machine Girl, yes. And again, I kind of have to agree. There's so many shots of
through the torso when she blows open that guy with the Gatling gun.
Yeah,
and then there's the shot. You see one of the other ninjas look through,
and you're seeing the holes. You've seen the holes through the villains. Yeah. You're seeing and the.
It's very gratuitous, but at the same time, it establishes the effect because immediately the next shot is that she puts the gun through the guy's stomach and blows his head off.
No. 100%.
Which I've seen in Hollywood films before. I've seen them where they've had massive holes, and then somebody puts another gun through and blows them away from the other side.
And again, I think you've got to create with cinematography. You've got to create that environment, that feel. Yeah. And what took me out of RoboGeisha was that shitty scene at the end. And like that. For me, I'm like...
That's it, because they clearly had a better camera for RoboGeisha, but it highlighted how shit everything was around
exactly
it.
Right.
Whereas the Machine Girl, you could tell the sets were minimal, they had no budget, what budget they had, they used on the practical effects.
Yeah.
But the cinematography helped enhance those practical effects.
Yeah.
Because they had it right up close, all the gore and everything was right there in your face.
Yeah, they planned every shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Every shot was planned. Yeah. With RoboGeisha,
some of it worked against it, so the choreography, the fight choreography was a lot more basic.
A bit sloppy.
You could see where some people clearly weren't martial arts trained, yet they were doing
things.
But
I think you pointed out a lot of the actors in it were actually porn stars.
Yeah, oddly enough, it's one of the only few trivia moments that I've got from
there's not much kind of trivia or there's even not any behind the scenes stuff on the DVDs. There's trailers and subtitles. That's pretty much it. But I find that quite fascinating, and the fact that they bring such amazing performances to them is a credit to what they can do.
Yeah.
But I 100% agree. I think RoboGeisha is all shots, CGI, special effects shots. And they don't necessarily look very good.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, and no, I wasn't invested. There's just scenes inside, and I don't think maybe minus the opening sequence. I feel like that was very planned out in RoboGeisha, but I'd have to.
To be fair, I think the opening sequence of RoboGeisha was probably the best scene. To be fair,
I think so too. Yeah, unfortunately. So I'm going to give it to Machine Girl. So Machine Girl is currently in the lead,
3-2.
Yeah. So let's go on to direction. No, you're right.
What do you think?
What do I think?
You've asked me what I think.
Yeah, first. I have. But you're the guest. I've got to ask you. What do I think? I think that RoboGeisha is like I said earlier, is him trying to move into maybe more straight films, less kind of B-movie, less kind of exploitation. He's trying stuff out. Like we were talking about the acting, there's these kind of long scenes of people just like talking head scenes, emotive scenes, and they do work and they do kind of help ground the film and its reality as much as it absolutely can. And it's great, but I can tell you can also tell that the violence has been toned way down. There's not as much kind of sprinkle of blood. Yeah. There's not as much kind of interesting things they're doing with it. There's not as there's more interesting weaponry.
Yeah,
but the violence and the way they portray the violence is not done as uniquely. We might get better performances out of the characters, but I think as a whole, I feel like he's much more a practical effect man than a special effects man, because I think the special effects do not do this film. Do not do RoboGeisha justice.
No.
And
it's best when it's like not.
Yeah.
When it's just not
weird. Like it gets to the end and you're like, okay, now it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you're already in that journey. You're already on that way. But I honestly thought like Machine Girl, grabbed me from the start.
Yeah.
I was in. You know, I loved the origin story. I loved the build-up. It was straightforward. The narrow corridor fight scene was, as much as I complained of all these things missing, and I don't know how. Yeah. That's just my main complaint with both these films. How did people miss? I think the fight scenes, were directed correctly. It was emotive. It was fun. It was fast-paced. It was frenetic. It never stopped for a moment.
Yeah.
It was just what I wanted out of a kind of a Japanese B-movie revenge cult film. I will happily recommend. I will show Machine Girl to people. I will happily show Machine Girl to, like, that's my stamp of approval. I go, have you seen Machine Girl? Let's put Machine Girl on. Unfortunately, I can't say that about RoboGeisha.
No, yeah.
As much as I did enjoy it, and I own it now, so I've got it now. So I'll have to watch it again. But Machine Girl, I got so much enjoyment. Like, we were laughing all the way through. We were. I think it goes to show that we rewound Machine Girl twice. We didn't rewind RoboGeisha.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think that's a big sign.
Yeah, it's a clear thing where we enjoyed a sequence that much that we rewound it just so we could see it again in case we'd missed anything.
But RoboGeisha, we didn't do that.
Not
a single time.
No,
because it was a slower paced film.
Yeah,
that doesn't necessarily mean we got more out of it. So I'm going to go with Machine Girl gets my final vote.
Yeah, well, I would agree with you.
Great.
Completely, I would agree with you completely.
Great. So, I did want to do the cult film test, but again, I think we're low on time as it is.
No, we definitely
with like 5 minutes left to go. That's been great. I highly recommend both films, guys, though, because...
Oh, I definitely. I definitely recommend them, just so you can see, like, just the sheer maddening insanity of the director.
He's
you got to give him props for
definitely
going crazy.
He's gone all out.
Yeah,
and I would happily, if I ever get another. I know there's a sequel to Machine Girl, and I know there's another film he did which I'd be quite interested in seeing called Mutant Girl Squad.
Yeah, I saw that on IMDb as well. Yeah,
I think I'd be up for that. So I might bring Noboro Iguchi back,
Splendid.
and maybe we'll do another couple of his films and kind of see how we get on. But it's been really good. Thank you again for coming on, because you've been
it's my pleasure.
amazing, and thank you for sharing these movies with me as well.
Oh no, thank you for bringing them to my doorstep.
Now you are more enriched. Forever.
Absolutely. So, I'll always remember the ninjas getting their faces blown apart.
I could watch that again. It's a great sign of Machine Girl. I could happily watch that scene now.
Definitely.
Yet again, just for that.
That ninja sequence is fantastic. Because it's so ridiculous. What was more ridiculous about that sequence was the fact that the evil bad kid and his two goons were just watching the entire thing.
Proper chill.
Completely emotionless. While these ninjas are getting massacred en masse. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
So before we go on that note, I'd like to say where you can find Spider Down and the Secret Balls. So you can find us on Facebook. If you type in the @ symbol Secret Balls in the search bar at the top, you'll find the page. On Twitter, it's @Dan_Balls. We are available on all sorts of different media. So Podbean specifically, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and now YouTube. And there's many other kind of podcasting platforms if you want to listen to that I've added it to. So go and find them if that's your preference. But those are the big main ones that we're on. And this will be available very, very soon.
Jolly good.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.